What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Uncle Jay podcast. I'm your host, Uncle Jay, and tonight we're not holding back. We're going to be talking about President Trump's brand new legislation, Grenade, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Now, look, they're calling it beautiful, but once you dig into it, there's nothing pretty about slashing Medicaid by 930 billion, gutting school lunch programs, or throwing 150 billion at ICE like it's Black Friday. That's not policy. That's a bulldozer aimed straight at working families, kids, and vulnerable communities. Sure, they're keeping those 2017 tax cuts. Middle and working class folks might see some short-term relief, but at what cost? This bill is dressed up like a gift, but rip the ribbon off, and it's just a bad priorities in a nice suit. So buckle up. We're digging into the pros and the cons and the real consequences of this bill. This ain't cable news. This is straight talk, no filter. Let's get into it. So the bill's been passed, and we didn't think it was gonna happen. I didn't think it was gonna happen, but it's happened. It's here, and so we need to talk about it because it's gonna hurt a lot of communities across this country. And people think they getting tax breaks on their overtime isn't going to be taxed, and their what else is it? It's overtime and something else. Oh man, what was it? I can't think of it right now, but it's overtime, and those are only going to last until 2018. So people, or 2028, my bad. So people don't realize that this bill is going to destroy a lot of middle class families. By December, I would say by November, December, you're really gonna start to see how bad this bill is. Um, you know, and it's just when did we become a country where we want to take away senior citizens health care? We want to take away free lunches from kids who need them. I grew up on free lunches. I got free lunches when I went to school, and if it weren't for the free lunches, I wouldn't have had lunch. Things were tight growing up in my household. We benefited from social programs and such when they were needed. And to just go and slash these programs like they're doing, and to just get rid of these programs have been around forever. I mean, I get it. Some people abuse it. I understand that, but not all people are abusing these programs. Now, if you want to go and figure out a way to get the folks off that are abusing it, I'm all for that. We can do that. That is something that needs to be done and should be done. But let's be real, man. It's not. The numbers aren't that big of people who are taking advantage of the programs. And when they do find people who take advantage of the programs, they prosecute them and they send them to jail. We see the cases. We saw a while back there were big stings that went down where people were caught defrauding SNAP benefits and such. And so that's what law enforcement is there for. You know what I mean? But these social nets are there for a reason, because they're needed. And then you turn around and you give 150 billion to ICE so that they can continue to do what? Snatch people off the streets, kidnap people. I thought we are going after the criminals. That's not what I'm seeing in the news and the videos that are circulating around social media and such. They're snatching up people, and some of them are even citizens. They've already gone through the process. They've become US citizens, and they're still snatching them up. I've got family members who depend on Medicare, and senior citizens in my family who live off of Medicare, who get their medications help pay for through Medicare. And it's just not right, man. And I don't know when we become this country where it's all evil. I've never seen this before. We have become an evil country, man. We have become like a third world country, and it's disgusting. Now you got Trump saying that it was the Obama and the the Obama and the Bidens got rid of all of the Epstein files, and everything disappeared. It just all magically disappeared when you got Pam Bondi a couple of weeks ago saying that it was all on her desk. She was reviewing it. It was horrifying what they were doing to the what was being done to these children. And Jeffrey Epstein is a creep, and he did all this child pornography and all this crazy stuff. But now all of a sudden, it's all just gone. It just disappeared. And now, he really wants us to believe that Biden and Hillary Clinton and Obama were behind the destruction of all this information. And, it was just a couple of weeks ago that she said it's on her desk. She's reviewing it. It's terrible. It's something. And now they just, it's all gone away. And I mean, we know why it's gone away, because he's all involved in it. And they will go to crazy lengths to protect this man, and I don't understand why. I mean, I don't get it. If there's anyone watching who wants to get into the comments and conversate with me about this, hell, if there's anybody out there that wants to come on and get on here live with me right now and debate the conversation, get at me, send me your email, and I'll bring you on stage and we can talk about it, because it's crazy. I just don't understand how at this point MAGA still defends this guy. Like, they're at this point, we see what he is all about. He's making billions of dollars off of this presidency. He's getting gifts from Islamic countries. Meanwhile, he's stopping the Muslim folk from being able to come into the country. Now they want to try to do away with birthright citizenship. Judges are telling him he can't do this, but he's still doing it. It's like the wheels have fallen off, people. Like, we were in bad shape here. Democracy as we know it is burning. It's being attacked, and it doesn't seem like people understand how desperate we are going to be here shortly. Like, this is insane. I'm 49 years old, and I never ever in a million years thought that I would be seeing something like this. I mean, we saw what happened in his first term, and now we're seeing what he's doing in his second term. And there's test case. I think there's a test case out in Florida where a mayor has stopped all the election. He's trying to not have to deal with being voted out. And so that is a test, that's a test subject for this man. If he can figure out a way to try to prolong him from leaving office so that he can install himself as a strongman dictator, believe me, folks, that is the next step. Birthright citizenship, they want to go after birthright citizenship. Now, if you go back, you can go back in anybody's lineage and find immigrants who have come here to this country. You can go back to a lot of people's lineage. I mean, let's be real. The Indians were here first, and it baffles my mind that they talk all this madness about immigrants. These people come to this country, they pay taxes into system and social programs that they can never benefit from, and they pay billions in taxes. I mean, let's not anyone fool you. These folks come here, they work hard. They're not all criminals, okay? That's a discriminative, stereotype. They're not all criminals. A large portion of them, I would say 80% of them, are coming here trying to, have a better life for their families. They send money back home to their folks, and so it's crazy. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it. I don't understand how people can be okay with this. I mean, school lunch programs, really? We're gonna take food away from children, hungry children? I mean, come on. Who out there hasn't benefited from free lunches? I mean, if you didn't benefit from free lunch, please, in the comments, tell me that you didn't benefit from free lunches at all in your entire life. I mean, these little funky tax breaks that you're gonna get, is it really worth it at the end of the day to see old people that are gonna die? Because believe me, senior citizens are going to die. People are going to die because of this bill. And that's just not that's not me trying to be all crazy and stuff. This bill is going to cause a lot of damage, and people don't realize it. And it's just time that we, the Democrats have to do something, man. And I know right now that they have got their hands tied behind their backs right now. They really can't do anything. They don't hold any power. But, we've got to get out there in 2026 and 2028, and we got to make a difference. We've got to help, the Democrats be able to, you know, uh, uh, turn this ship somehow. Because if we don't, we're going to be in big, big trouble, man. And I don't know what else more to say about it. You see that, another billionaire, Sean Combs is another wealthy man who's going to get away with crimes. He beat a bunch of the charges. I mean, I know I think they got him on a prostitution, transportation, a prostitution charge or whatever. But let's be real. What is that? I mean, he's going to end up getting time served. He'll be on probation. And it shows the different class tiers here in this country. It's like, if you're rich, no matter what, you have benefits that poor middle class folks don't have. If that were one of us, we would be under the jail right now. The trial would have been done, over with. We'd have been found guilty on every charge, and we would never see the light of day. But this guy has got money. He's got a little influence. And maybe he knows where some of the bodies are buried. Maybe he's got some dirt on some people. I don't know, but it seems fishy to me that he was able to beat a RICO charge. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. Now, I know, Young Thug did it, and I know there's some other rappers that have gotten, that have beaten some RICO cases, and I know that some RICO cases have been beaten. But let's be real. When the feds come for you, 9 out of 10 times, they got you. They got the evidence, and they got you. And so for this guy to beat all the major charges and get this one little bullshit charge that isn't gonna, amount to anything. I don't think he's gonna do any jail time. People say, oh, he gets 6 to 8 years. He's not gonna do no jail time. He's gonna get time served. They're not giving him bail, so he's gonna stay in jail until his sentencing hearing. And he's going to get probation, and it's a slap on the wrist. And from what we all heard with the court documents and everything, yeah, Cassie was a little, some of her stuff didn't kind of add up. She was, she should be held a lot more accountable for some of the things that she did as well. Because some of the stuff that was being reported was crazy. And it was a lot of it, she was initiating as well. And I'm not here to bash women, because that's not my thing. I've got 4 daughters, 2 beautiful granddaughters. I don't do that. I've got 3 nieces. I've got a sister. So I'm not here to bash women, but people need to be held accountable for their own actions. You know what I'm saying? And so, if we want him to be held accountable, then everybody needs to be held accountable. I don't get how all of a sudden this information is just gone. How did it go from a month ago? It's on her desk. She's reviewing it. It's right there. We've got it. Now, they're saying that the deputy FBI guy, Dan Bangio, or whatever his last name is, he's talking about resigning strictly because of the Epstein situation. And people have to speak out, man. We need somebody to expose this, man. We can't keep being fed bullshit and expect to just deal with it. Like, things need to change. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not advocating for violence or anything like that. But we have, our power is in our voting. Our power is in, how we vote. And getting people out to vote, getting people registered, that's our power. We can change these things if we get out there and do what needs to be done, because this can't be it. This can't be it. We can't be the country who takes food from hungry children. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be a beacon of hope. People want to come to this country to have a better life. And all the wrong things are being pushed now. It's like, I just don't understand it. And it's just not right. And things need to change. And I don't know how we make that change. I know what I can do is get out and vote, help people get registered to vote. We need a blue wave in 2026. We need to get back, some numbers here. We because that's the only way we're going to beat them, man, because they have showed that they're not dignified folk, man. They don't have any morals. They claim to be Christian. They always pump this Christian God, this, that, and the third. They want to put God back in the schools and this, that, and the third. Well, they don't live like Christians. You know, they build a concentration camp in Florida called Alligator Alcatraz, and people are applauding it, and they want to go out and buy merch. And then, but then when the floods come and there's no money allocated to FEMA, and people in Texas are crying that they've lost everything, well, how are we supposed to feel about them when they've been sitting here, laughing and making fun of, these folks that are getting snatched up by ICE? And some of these people are actually citizens of this country, and they're being snatched up and sent to other countries. I mean, this isn't right. This is crazy. Where did we go wrong? I mean, because it seemed like when Obama was in office, we were inclusive. We were trying to give people, who you love is who you love. We were kind of, making strides. And then it just seemed like, Hillary, she loses, he gets in the office, and now it's a total 360, where we've become, it's not about making America great again, it's about making America hate again. And white folk, they don't got no right to be like this, because they stole this land from the Indians. Let's be real, they're immigrants just like everybody else. You see what I'm saying? This wasn't their land. They took it from the Indians. If you know your history, you know your history. Not that bullshit they teach you in school, because that's just bullshit. Okay? And they don't teach real history anymore. They don't teach civics. They don't teach these kids how government works and how things, go. And it's just, it baffles my mind that we have people that are applauding this, man. People are in the streets cheering, this is what I voted for. Really? This is what you voted for? For American citizens to be kidnapped by Gestapo goons that aren't even ICE agents? These are just bounty hunters that they're bragging about how much money they're making, and they're just, this is disgusting, man. It is disgusting. It is disgusting. And I don't know, I don't know where, where we made this turn, to where, this shit is acceptable in our country, man. And this ain't, this is coming from somebody who lived through the Reagan years, both Bushes, Clinton. Like, even when we didn't agree with the Republicans, we still respected them, and we still figured out a way to get along. You know what I'm saying? This dude is totally making it. I mean, I've never heard a president say he hates the other side. He hates them. Like, that's not how presidents are supposed to speak. That's not presidential. That's not being a president, man. His overseas policies are, are insane. Like, the whole Iran and Israel thing was out of control. I mean, and then they talk about when Obama gave back some of that money that was allocated from, restrictions when we put sanctions on Iran. He just gave back the money that was theirs, that we had frozen, that was their money. This dude actually gave them 30 billion of our tax dollars to Iran. And let's be real, they didn't blow up no plants or anything. Those people had enough time to get whatever kind of enriched uranium that they had. They were able to get that at a whole nother location. Like, that whole fiasco was just a big joke, man. And if you believe that he's some strong, tough guy, and he don't care about America. He's never cared about America. He didn't care about America on 9/11 when he bragged about, now that the towers were down, that he had the biggest building in the city. That's not America first. That's not loving your neighbor and loving your community, loving your fellow citizens. That's evil, man. And that's who he is. He's evil. And people are showing their true colors. Anybody who stands with this guy, they're evil, man. It's all about your checkbook. If your tax, if them little funky, tax breaks means that much to you, to where you can sell your dignity and your the ability to be a human being, then go for it, man. I mean, but that's not me. That's not me, man. And I refuse to ever be that. And I refuse to let them destroy this beautiful country. I mean, and like I said, don't get me wrong, we've got our issues. Racism has always been an issue. We've always had our issues, man. But at the end of the day, we could all agree that giving poor kids food is not something that, you know what I mean, shouldn't be done. Like, you know, and I get it. I know people are saying, well, you know, people don't want to work. They want to, you know, take advantage of the programs, and they put videos up. Well, yeah, you're going to have that. You're going to have that. I'm sure there's white people who do that shit too. You know, I mean, if you look at it, there's more white folks on, you know, Medicaid and snaps and everything. You know, you could talk that per capita bullshit all you want, but the facts are the facts. Okay? So, you know, they just don't understand that this guy doesn't give a damn about them. You know, they hate other cultures so much that they're willing to destroy themselves in order to destroy someone else. You know, and that's all it is, because let's be real, the blue states fund the red states. Okay, the tax dollars in the blue states are what funds the red states. Okay, the red states are some of the poorest states in the world. I think it was Lyndon B. Johnson who said, if you can make the poorest white man think that, you know, someone else is taking money out their pocket or something, you can sell them, you know, you can sell them friggin' ice in the you know, Antarctic. You know, these people aren't the brightest people, and it's because our education system has failed. You know what I'm saying? Because we got so much money at defense budget. I mean, if we just took away some of that money from the defense budget, we could fund everything, bro. Like, the wars aren't even really fought with boots on the ground anymore. I know that there are boots on the ground when we have bases all over the place, but let's be real, with the technology that's out there now, man, they're killing people with drones and shit, man. So it's like, we don't need to be, we don't need to be putting all that money towards, you know, military, the military complex. You know, and then to turn around and give 150 billion to ICE for what, man? For what? So that they can continue to kidnap people right off the damn streets. I mean, it's almost to the point where, like I said, I'm not advocating violence. That's not my thing. You know, I've always been a non-violent guy, but I mean, at some point, man, you can only push people so far. And now that people, you know, other cultures and other, you know, other races want to, you know, take advantage of the Second Amendment. Now you got people, you know, oh well, they can't do that. Well, why can't they? You can. You know, and it's like, what are we doing here, man? So, I mean, if there's anybody out there that wants to, you know, get involved in the conversation, please post some comments, you know, help me keep this thing going, because, you know, that's really my rant, is that how did we fall so fast? You know, it wasn't like this, you know, 15 years ago, you know, 20 years ago, man. You could go knock on your neighbor's door and borrow some sugar if you need. Now you pull into somebody's driveway because you lost, and they come out shooting at you, you know, with AR-15s. And, you know, it's just, I don't know, man. It saddens me that the greatest country in the world, man, has been reduced to what we've been reduced to because of this one person, man. And let's be real, these Republican politicians, they laugh at this guy behind the scenes. But they got to play along because they know that if they don't, then they lose their power. You know, there comes a time where we got to really take a look at this political game, man. We need term limits. These guys, some of these guys are fossils, man. Some of these you know, politicians are fossils, man. They need to be retired. You know, and I don't know about the Supreme Court anymore, because it seems like they're giving this dude everything he wants, and then what's gonna happen when the Democrats take back office? Because best believe there's gonna be a Democratic president again one day, and then what's gonna happen when he starts to do all this crazy shit Trump is doing with these executive orders? What is the Supreme Court gonna step in and stop them? You know what I mean? Because they sure enough aren't stopping this guy. They're pretty much giving him, you know, free reign to do whatever the hell he wants. I mean, some of these executive orders aren't even lawful. And it's like, you know, these district judges and these, they're telling him that this isn't lawful. You can't do this. They're knocking him down at every turn of the corner, and he doesn't care. He's not, you know, he's not listening. He's just doing whatever the hell he wants. He thinks he's got he thinks he's got a mandate, which he doesn't. He really doesn't have a mandate. You can, me personally, I don't think he won all 7 swing states. I think there was definitely something. I'm not conspiracy, and I'm not going to sit here and play the game. But come on, man. When was the last time any president won all 7 swing states and the popular vote? Come on. And this guy, I mean, with the record-breaking registration we had for the Democrats, man, I mean, the numbers were astronomical. And this guy won all 7 swing states and the popular vote. Come on, man. I don't know. Now him and his, best buddy Elon are beefing. And then you see who Elon is out, but you see who stepped in as Elon got pushed got pushed out. Now you got Peter Thiel is right there with him. And he's even worse than Elon. Peter Thiel is. You want to talk about the Antichrist. Peter Thiel is the damn Antichrist. I mean, and if you don't know about Peter Thiel, you need to educate yourself about him because he's fucking evil, So it's like, I mean, I've got all this information that, that I set up on my phone, so that we could talk about this. And it's just, I just don't understand it. I mean, like he posts on his Truth Social. What's going on with my boys, and in some cases, gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA. See, that it's all about MAGA. Presidents are supposed to be presidents for everyone in the country, not just a small portion of the country. You know what I mean? You say what you will about Biden, say what you will about Obama, but they were a president for everyone. They didn't just do things for certain, classes of people. They were the president for the entire country. This guy, he cares about one group and one group only, his base, his MAGA cult, cronies. And I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration. Okay, crazy. They're all incompetent. I mean, they all look like idiots. The entire administration is incompetent. Pete Hasek is a moron. No one even told him to withhold equipment from Ukraine. He just did it because he thought that's what Trump wanted. I mean, come on. Well, who's really running the show? They talked all that crap about Biden, with the auto pen, but who's really running the country if they're just doing things because they think that's what Trump wants? I mean, and then where does he go? Okay, perfect. The talk of the world and selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration? You see this shit? Come on, man. Bullshit. She said she had the information all on her desk just a month ago, if not a few weeks ago. Okay? And then he goes back with the hoax of the intelligence and a laptop and Hunter Biden. I'm not going to read all of this, but the dude is losing it, man. My guy, the Raging Cajun, James Carville, says he thinks he's suffering from syphilis that's never been treated, which I think is hilarious because it's probably true. The dude is a pig, I mean, I would have thought he would have never became president after that interview he did on that bus where he talked about grabbing women, by what. I thought he was done there. Shit, I thought he was done when he was coming down the escalator and he told the little 10-year-old girl he'd be dating her in 10 years. It's like, I mean, he talks about wanting to have sexual relations with his own daughter. He's always said creepy, vile, cringy things about his female daughters. I remember an interview a long time ago about Tiffany Trump where he talked about, her top and her legs. And I mean, just think, I'm a father. Like I said, I've got 4 daughters. I got 2 granddaughters. I got 3 nieces. I got a sister. I would never talk about women like that, And this guy has become the president of the most powerful country in the world. And I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know. I mean, is it that people are just that dumb? Has social media and misinformation made people that, stupid that they can't friggin' research things themselves and hear with their own ears and see with their own eyes. I mean, come on. This dude is a clown. He wears friggin' makeup, bro. Like, he's orange. I mean, what are we doing here, man? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, could someone please tell me what it is about this dude that people that attract people to him? Because I mean, growing up where I grew up, we would have punked him off. We would have laughed him out of the town. He'd be a joke from the environment that I grew up in and I was raised in. He'd be chumped off. We'd be, but I don't know, man. People love him, and I don't get it. And I truly believe it's just a small percentage of this country that he can depend on. I mean, I even think now independents are starting to open their eyes. You know what I mean? It's like this whole tariff shit. What are we doing? We get I live in Buffalo, New York. You know what I mean? So we get a lot of our electricity from Canada. Now he put a 25% tariff on Canada, and then he's threatening to do another 35% if they retaliate against the tariff he put on. It's like this is just a big fucking joke, man. I mean, people have got to wake up. This is gonna hurt people. This is gonna kill people. All this shit is gonna kill people. People aren't gonna be able to pay their electric bills. I've already seen a huge increase in my electric bills and my gas bills. I mean, my grocery bills are through the roof. I mean, this is insane. I mean, what are we doing here, man? And it can't be because of some tax cuts. It can't be about them little bullshit ass tax cuts. Because what is it? I mean, what's the most that you get back for middle class and poor folk? It ain't much. I read somewhere of like 12,000 for, and I mean, so what is that? Like, really? That money is going to change your life to where you're okay with senior citizens getting kicked off of their Medicaid and their Medicare, and hungry children are no longer going to be able to eat, at school. And, bad enough that the education, they want to do away with, public education. And what does that mean? So now you have private schools. So you think, so who's gonna get hurt by having to go to private schools? Black and brown folk, man. We know what it is. It's all racist bullshit. And it's to the point now where it's okay now again. Like, he's literally taking us back to a time where it is okay to be racist. Right out, they used to hide it. It used to only be spoken at the dinner table, just in their own homes and shit. Now it's out there crazy. You got people, calling people the N-word left and right. I mean, every day I'm seeing some vile person here in my own city. I've seen videos in my own city of vile people calling black and brown folk despicable names, and it's disgusting. Don't get me wrong, Buffalo's always been a segregated type city, everybody in their own little area, but man, people didn't speak like that in public, you know what I mean? And now they're just doing it. It's the normal now. Now it's just the norm. So, I don't get it. If there's anybody out there, who can, put me down on some game, as they would say, let me know. What is it about Trump that you people like, that you people respect? You say he's some strong person. He's not strong. These world leaders laugh at him. He's a joke. He's a joke. It's like, how are your 401ks looking? How's your 401k one? Are they looking good? Are you losing money? Are you getting it? Are you getting it now? Is it starting to sink in? Or do you got to wait a little while longer till it gets really, really bad? To where you got people killing each other over shit that, was easily attainable, 20 years ago. I mean, does it have to become a point where you got people in the street killing each other, over dumb shit for you to really open your eyes? I mean, because, it's right around the corner. It's right the fuck around the corner. I promise you that. And, if we don't do something now, if we don't take back our dignity and our ability to show our brethren love and compassion, then we're headed in a bad place, man. We're headed in a bad place when you start to take food from hungry children, man. I don't dig that, man. That's not cool to me. There ain't an amount of money in the world that would ever make me be cool with taking food from hungry children. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. You know, you might feel, well, it ain't my job to take care of them. You know, they got parents or whatever have you. I get that. But come on, man. Everybody don't have the same opportunity as everybody else does. You know what I mean? We all live different lives. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, where's the compassion, man? Come on, man. We can do better than that, man. We're better than that. We are better than that. We've shown it. I mean, the shit that people are doing to the Mexican community, the Latino community, and look at what the president of Mexico did. She sent people to this country over to Texas to help with the flooding because this clown, you know, him and Elon and the Doge bullshit, they slashed FEMA and these people, you know, children dying. Do people care about that? Do the people care about these children are dying because this dude gutted the FEMA and there's nobody to help? They're not sending any help. I mean, and if they do send it, I mean, well, how much help can they really provide with all the funds that have been slashed from you know, these programs? I mean, talk to me, man. I really have to know. It can't just always be about, you know, daisies and roses, man, you know. And I get it. People, you know, there's a lot out there to consume you so that you don't have to look at it and you don't have to pay attention to it. You can just, you know, turn it off and go, you know, go to concerts, and you can go to ball games, and you know, we got the football seasons coming around, and you know, I'm diehard Bills fan, you know, Bills Mafia community. I mean, and we all talk about this stuff, man. And it's like, you know, it, I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say. You know, I wanted to come on here and break down the pros and cons of this bill, but I'm just so disgusted by you know, the fact that it was even passed. I mean, you know, and then there you go. It's like these politicians, they sell their constituents out, you know, the backroom deals and such. This bill was never supposed to pass. It was dead on the vine, but people get into those back rooms, they make those slimy back deals, they do this, and let's be, the only reason why it passed is because they were forced to take a lot of stuff out of it. If they were able to keep what was originally in the bill, it'd have been 1,000 times worse than what it actually is. But let me just go, because I got some numbers here. I did some research, and I'm gonna throw some numbers out at you. So give me 1 second here, bear with me. So, all right, so here's the deal. So again, like I said, they slashed 930 billion cut from Medicaid. Millions are going to lose access to essential health care. Elderly folk in nursing homes, low income families, disabled individuals, rural hospitals and clinics are going to close. People aren't going to be able to go to the hospital. I mean, and then when you do this, what happens? You're going to see an increase in emergency room visits. And who pays that? We, the taxpayers. Um, Again, slashes school lunch funding, strips support from school, feeding millions of low income children. Nutrition directly affects learning, focus, and attendance. Critics argue this targets the most vulnerable for political gain. They eliminated the green energy tax credits. I mean, you know, ends incentives for solar, wind, and clean energy. I mean, this dude is a clown. He thinks that these things are killing the birds and shit. I mean, the shit that comes out of this dude's mouth is insane. It's definitely going to stall the momentum of renewable energy jobs and climate innovation. You know, and who wins when you do that? The fossil fuel companies, you know, the Koch brothers, and you know, the friggin' you know, all the friggin' billionaires in Texas with all of that bullshit. And again, I told you, they gave 150 billion to immigration enforcement, which is definitely overkill, because a lot of these people, they're got their faces covered up. They don't even have credentials. These people are just, you know, the J6ers who are out here as bounty hunters getting paid. I saw a town hall meeting, or a board meeting, where the dude was saying that they were getting anywhere from, you know, 1,500 to 2,000 for every person that they snatched up. And so that's why you see this craziness on the streets where people are just snatching up anybody who have brown skin. It's disgusting. It's the most racist shit I've ever seen in my life, and I get it. Obama put kids in cages, Trump put kids in cages, Biden put kids in cages. Yeah, I get it. There's that aspect of it. All things aren't gonna be rosy. You're gonna have those types of situations where things but what we're seeing now is insane. People are afraid to go to work. People are afraid to do anything in fear that they're going to get snatched up and sent to another country. Guantanamo Bay, Alligator, Alcatraz. I mean, and a lot of these construction sites, nobody's coming to work. Where are all the white kids that want that? Where are all the white people that scream they're taking our jobs and this, that, and the third? They're not going and filling these jobs that these construction sites are been raided and taken down. I see videos every day of construction owners saying, "Hey, where's all the white people who claim that the immigrants are stealing their jobs? Where are they at? We got jobs now. Tell them to come to work." They don't want to work. They don't want to work those jobs. Who wants? No one's gonna work in a field in 100-degree weather picking strawberries and vegetables and fruits and shit. Come on, let's be real. We know they're not gonna do those jobs. Because if they would, the folks wouldn't be coming here to do those jobs. Now you got farmers are losing farms that have been in their families for generations, and it's ridiculous. And it's all for what? To own the libs. That's all it's about. It's all about owning the libs. It ain't about jobs. It ain't about protecting people, because they don't care about protecting people. They pick these isolated incidences where, an illegal, or, someone who is here illegally happens to harm someone. They'll take these isolated incidents and they'll point at and say, this is why. But let's be real, man. They're school shootings. Everybody commits crime. White people, all of us. Every nationality commits crime, man. So to just put it all on, these folks coming here trying to have a better life for themselves is bullshit. And I'm not buying it, and I never will buy it. And you can't pull the wool over my eyes because, like I said, I've been around, man. I grew up poor, okay? I know what it was like to go to bed hungry. You know what I'm saying? I know what it felt like to go to your refrigerator and open up the refrigerator and there not be nothing in that damn refrigerator to eat. I remember being, a kid, 7, 8, 9, going to the park to get the free lunches in the summertime, man. So, don't tell me that, these programs don't help, because they do. Okay. And I grew up and I became a man, and I did everything in my power to make sure that my kids didn't have to live that, that situation. And, that's what it's all about, man. And if these people want to come here and they want to, they want to make a better lives for themselves and their families, who gives a damn, man? Now, if you want to argue, about coming here legally and illegally, whatever the case, fine. We can have that argument, okay? But you're not going to stop it, man. You're not going to stop it, okay? And this dude is only going to be in office for so long. You folks might think he's going to be able to anoint himself as a dictator, but it's not going to happen, okay? Believe me, when push comes to shove, it's not going to happen. Because I'm almost willing to guarantee you that a large portion of the military who was forced to go to LA and who were forced to do that damn parade, they didn't want to do that shit. That's not what the oath was that they took, okay? And so when push comes to shove, I truly believe that that won't happen. And if it does happen, then folks, we are truly fucked. Because if there's no one that's going to stop them, then I don't know, I don't know where we go from there. I'll tell you one thing, I'll be the fuck up out of here. I'll find somewhere else to go, because I'm not going to live in a country where I'm living under a dictatorship. I lived my entire life under the assumption that, democracy is the way, it should be. And that's what everybody wants. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, not at all. That's not going to be my thing. I'm not ever going to be cool with some guy, anointing himself the fucking king, man. No kings in my opinion. I'm not with that. That's not something I'm ever gonna be with, or be cool with or be down with, And so I don't know what else more to say, man. I think the whole shit is bullshit with the Epstein shit, man. We know he's a pervert. We know he is a skis when it comes to that type of shit. I mean, there is you know documentation going way back of him and Epstein being involved in all kinds of horrific shit. So don't think for 1 minute that that shit ain't there. And people are starting to catch on. You got your Joe Rogans, some of these people who really backed him, and who really, stood by him, they're beginning to question him now. You know what I mean? Because he is showing his true colors. I mean, and let's be honest, man. If it was all just the Democrats and, Obama and all of them folk that were on these tapes and videos and shit, they would have dropped them shits in an instant. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all they care about is owning the libs, man. That's all they care about, man. And they will let people die. They will let children go hungry. And they will destroy an entire country just for that one thing. And don't get it twisted. This man is making billions and billions of dollars, folks. He doesn't care about you. Never have, never will. All he cares about is enriching himself. That's it. That's all it's ever been. There has never been a president outside of a book deal or some apparent speaking engagements or public library or whatever. No president has ever hawked the type of shit this dude is. From Bibles to coins to sneakers to you name it, this dude is trying to sell it. So watches. I mean, it's the whole thing is a big joke, man. And so with that being said, I'm done talking about that. I want to talk a little bit about my the up and coming football season. Like I said, I'm a real big Bills fan. Um, you know, um, been a Bills fan my whole life. Went through four straight Super Bowl losses. Constantly going to the playoffs and coming up short against the Kansas City Chiefs. Year after year. But I really truly believe that this year, we're gonna have something special. I think the defense is revamped. I think that we're gonna see something really special here in this upcoming season. I'm looking forward to the hard knock. Bills are gonna be a part of the training camp, hard knock program on HBO. So I'm looking forward to that. And I mean, it's almost here, folks. I mean, in a couple of weeks, you get the Hall of Fame game, and then preseason starts up. And then before you know it, the season will be here, and then it'll be friggin' snowing again. And we'll all be miserable because of the damn cold weather. But there's nothing there's no such thing as climate change or anything. But I mean, it's like Buffalo. We used to have winters in Buffalo. I mean, it go from May to mid-September. Now is that we got snow, friggin' cold weather 6 months out of the friggin' year, sometimes longer. It's like it just started getting nice out here in Buffalo. But let them tell it, man. There ain't none. It's just how it is. It is what it is. It always happens like this. Bullshit. Also, we got the fight coming up soon. Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. That should be a really good, interesting fights. There's some fights on tonight. When I get wrapped this up, I'll be going and checking those out. Um, Me personally, I'm going with Bud Crawford. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's got the speed, he's got power, he's got the ability to use the ring to his advantage. I know that Canelo is the heavier, the naturally bigger guy, but I think Bud is going to give him some problems, man. But we'll see what happens. What else is there that we could talk about? My Sabres still suck. I'm still hoping that they can, figure something out at some point. I know that you guys, big baseball fans, got the playoffs are gonna be rolling up here shortly. In a couple of months. I think in September the playoff starts. So you guys got that to look forward to, and I mean that's pretty much about it for me. I just wanted to come on here and, you know, like I said, I'm still working on some things, trying to figure out a nice little setup to where, I can do a few nights a week, and like I said, I'm feeling a little better, and so I'm gonna, getting back into it. But like when things come up and I have to get some shit off my chest and vent a bit, I figure this is how I'll do it. I'll bring it to you folks, and hopefully, down the line I can get some interaction with some people with some comments and such. And I'm trying, working on trying to get some guests to come on, and I'm trying to um want to put together a little something where I can get a conservative to come on with someone, a little bit to the left, get a Republican, a Democrat, get them to come on at the same time, and we can all sit and have like a discussion, a roundtable discussion, and we can discuss these things. Because I know that there's conservatives and I know that there's Republicans out there that this shit ain't jiving with them either, man. And I know that there's independents out there, and it's like, at the end of the day, man, it all comes down to this, man. Who cares? It's this war against the woke agenda. And I mean, let's be real. They've hijacked the word woke, and they've turned it into something, bad. And we people who understand how the world works, man, they know what woke means, man. It means getting ahead, man. It means not being in everybody's damn business. Who cares what person, who this person loves or that person loves? They go after the transgender community, and it's like, for what? Because a small percentage, I mean a very minute percentage of transgender folks have gotten into the sports, and they feel like they're whatever. And I mean, people, it's minuscule. We all know this. It's minuscule. I mean, you can probably count on one hand how many transgender compete in women's sports. I mean, and it's all bullshit to distract you from the fact that this dude cares about one thing and one thing only: making money. Okay, that's all he cares about. He's been a crook since day one. He's been Putin's bitch since the 80s. We all know this. It's well-known knowledge. And so, I don't know when, this dude became, king shit, man. But at some point, he tapped into, people's, you know, hatred for other people having what they don't have. And that's all it is. It's just jealousy. It's people hating because they don't feel like, they feel they're entitled to more than the next guy. And that's all it is. And that's it. It's all it comes down to. These folks think they're better because they've been raised to think they're better. But in all actuality, man, we're all the fucking same, bro. We all bleed the same blood, and that's it. People up. What's up, Dave? People, and here's a prime example. Now, there's a buddy of mine, Dave. He's Bill's Mafia of the community, and now we don't agree on everything politically, but we're able to have a conversation without it being all kinds of, you know, craziness and such. We're able to debate the topics and discuss it and be respectable about it and come to conclusions that sometimes he opens my eyes about things, and I hope that sometimes I open his eyes about things. He's a veteran. He's in the military currently right now, and he understands how, things work, militarily wise, and he knows that, there's always some bullshit, and so, you know I get it. People need to come here legally, but at the end of the day, man, sometimes it just is what it is, man, and we just have to figure it out. It doesn't mean that we've got to throw away, our morale, our morals, and our dignity, and it doesn't mean we have to do that. What we need to do is find comparable immigration law and make it happen. It's not hard, man. It shouldn't be hard. I mean, fuck, it's 2025, man. Like, this shit shouldn't be hard. We've had a long time to figure it out. I mean, and hey, my thing is this. The jobs are there now. Okay. Farmers need people to go pick the fruit and the vegetables. The jobs are available, people. Go get them. Go get them. The construction sites are empty. Building home, it's all come to a standstill. The jobs are available. Let's see them. Go get those jobs that they've came here and taken from you. Because they're available now. So now they're out there. Go get them. But I'll tell you, they're not getting them, because I watch guys every day on these videos talking about, hey man, we can't build these houses. The housing market's gonna tank because we can't build the homes because we don't got workers. They took the guys, the Guatemalans, they took the Mexicans, they did whatever. They got rid of them. So now, you don't know how many videos I've seen of construction, owners and foremen saying, we love these folks. They work hard. They come, they work, 12, 16 hours. They don't complain. They come, they work, they kick ass. They don't whine about this or that. Young kids, they get a little tummy ache and they want to take off of work. You know what I mean? It's like, so dismiss me with the bullshit about they still in my job shit, because I don't want to hear it no more. It's all bullshit. It's trash. So at the end of the day, we got to figure out a way to figure it out so that we can live, and everybody get along like the great Jackie Moon. What do you say? Everybody love everybody. I mean, it's something is simple as that, man. We got to get our compassion back, man. We've got to get our morals back, man. We have to be dignified again. And I don't know when, where, and how we are going to do it, but we have got to figure out a way to do it. And it is what it is. And I've gone on long enough ranting and raving about this shit. So what I'll do is I'll say thank you to the folks who tuned in. I appreciate you for coming in and letting me vent and rant and go on and sound like a clown at times. I know I do, but it's these things mean something to me, man. They're dear to my heart, because I love this country and I love what we were and what we can be and what we need to be. And I don't recognize who we are now. I don't recognize it anymore, and it worries me. So, with that being said, continue to, be on the lookout. I'll be doing more shows, and I'll be, like I said, trying to get some guests on, and I'm going to be putting some things together. But again, thank yous, for tuning in and for allowing me to come into your homes and rant and rave and, talk my shit. I appreciate you. God bless everyone, and always go Bills.
A reintroduction, conceive this, a whole new genre to breathe with, reproduce, so smooth on the mic and the light, my own moves, give it life, right from my own view, words mature and then grow groove, I was soul improved, work on me, wake up in the morning just to work on the beat, so intuitive, that's how I gotta be, when I'm in tune with the boom and the God in me, it's true, never lose that, I never come through with the loose rap, tighten up, time to enlighten them, striking like lightning and hope I don't frighten them. Boom. Recited for you to get you excited and hype. Move with the rhythm tonight, beautiful type. Women in my inhibitions, I'll move to the side. Music's my only religion, surrounding myself with only musicians. Only the best, solely uplifting. With this combination, my music is infinite. Ideal situations, stimulate them. Wanna inspire and motivate them. My goal is take them to a higher level, let the pain escape them. It's euphoric, are you for it? I promise I know you have a use for it, so let's use it. Get into it, no matter what we call it, it's soul music.
Thanks for tuning in to the Uncle Jay podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and catch us next time. This is Uncle Jay signing off. Stay blessed and always go Bills.